medical imaging, where AI technologies are infused into devices that go into organs, tissues, and of course, uh, collect data about what's going on in the body, and of course, it's able to gather those data and help make informed decisions based on those data. There are also technologies around molecular testing that enable medical practitioners or people in the pharmaceutical industry, go about research in terms of determining what kinds of drugs should be produced and things like that. So there are many other instances of technology in the healthcare. When it comes to the finance industry, of course, there are technologies that are helping now for fraud detection, where you use anomaly detection mechanisms, where you have a pool of data. And over time, when you start to notice anomalies, maybe in the size of transactions, the size of withdrawals, and in the mechanics of the movement of data, AI helps to flag those anomalies, and then it brings that to the attention of banking officers, and they can motion towards those um, notifications and either freeze an account or put some restrictions to the flow of funds in and out of an account based on what AI has observed in terms of anomalies. There are also opportunities within finance as well for algorithm trading for those who trade forex or stocks, where you're able to program your trading in a sense with some parameters determining how trading should occur on your account based on the movement of stocks within the market, so that you can sort of minimize losses and maximize your gains. When it comes to the manufacturing area, just an overview, the most popular entry point of AI within the manufacturing industry is actually the industry of things technologies, where we are using a combination of softwares and hardware and sensory sensors put together, to detect fluctuations in the way that machines behave, so that it can help you predict maintenance schedules, and things to also support you with the way that you ensure that the operation of your machines work well, just using data that AI collects with either industrial control systems, IoT, SCADA, things like that, that helps you collect information about, the um, the operation of your machines, maybe heat, temperature, pressure, output and things like that. And it helps you to predict a lot of stuff, when you do maintenance, when you replace equipment, when you should shut down equipment and things like that. So in these three areas, not the only places where AI is definitely doing stuff, but there are some of the areas where we see some interesting thing. Of course, IT is about the mainstay of much of what AI is doing and much of what that's doing. Yeah. Mm.
So, in a future where it's obviously going to be dominated by AI and automation, what key
Yeah.
skills do workers need to thrive in that future?
So there are two ways to look at this. So one is skills in terms of working in AI, and the other is skills in terms of using AI. So working in AI, this might be maybe people who are already in the IT space, people who understand programming, people who understand a couple of things around the IT space, maybe those who are already in cloud engineering, AI, things that are within the neighborhood of um, AI technology, who then decide to go pick up a bit more skills, to go fully into the AI space, to create AI models, to create AI programs that are applied in different industries. So that's one way that anyone who wants to secure their employment could go. So this could even be people who are experts in areas that are not IT at all. So maybe you're a medical doctor and you decide to go learn medical technologies instead of medical AI, and how you can use AI tools and technology to build things that help the healthcare sector, for instance. Another
Mm,
layer in which employees can sort of protect their jobs, those who want to do that, is to master how to use AI. So AI is disrupting industries across, but it's not every job that would be replaced. There are certain jobs that AI would enhance. So in that context, if someone who is in a particular industry wants to keep their jobs and be relevant in their industry, one way to do that is to go and learn how to use AI and see what areas within that person's area of work, areas within that person's industry where AI is already making an impact and where AI can be used to enhance what they are doing already. So the future of work in AI or the future of work within the context of AI is in the hands of those who either are working in AI to create AI applications and technologies that are used by various industries, or those who are able to use AI, those who work in industries where AI is already making impact, but now have mastered the use of AI, and AI is helping to improve the efficiency of their work. So AI is helping to save them time. AI is helping to enable them generate new ideas. AI is helping to make them work faster. And in that way, AI enables them to improve their output, to add more value to the things that they are doing. Through those means, they remain employed because, if you're doing things faster than you used to do before, if you're adding more value to stuff, if you're doing more than you used to do before, then you're likely going to remain in business. Of course, if you work somewhere, your employees or employers are likely going to keep you on the job, because of these two or these various enhancements, that AI brings to how you work. Yeah.
Well, you've just outlined the advantages, should I put it that way, of,
Yeah.
um, work owners including AI into their workforce. But there's often the concern that AI would lead to job displacement. Well, how do you see AI impacting employment in the long term?
So there are a couple of ways to look at this. AI, there are certain sectors and certain areas of work that are very highly exposed to AI. So those ones are those categories or those sectors are areas where you're likely going to see job losses. But there are areas you have, sectors that are exposed to AI, but in those areas, AI has a high potential to complement skills and activities in those areas. And there are areas where, and there are sectors that are completely unexposed to AI, at least as far as we know now. So when it comes to displacing people out of work or not, or creating new jobs or not. One thing is the way to look at it is to start to ask whether or to the extent to which certain sectors or industries are exposed to AI. The higher those sectors or those activities are exposed to AI, the higher the level to which people could lose jobs. So if you look at your industry and you read reports and see what's happening in your area as touching AI and what AI is doing, you can tell whether you are in a sector that is highly exposed. So people who are in, for instance, programming, for instance, even though programming, of course, is something that you know would give you job in AI because that skill is required. AI somehow would also replace those kinds of jobs. So if algorithms and models become more mature, become more precise, become more efficient, it would likely replace the job of those who even created those algorithms. So IT is one area that's highly exposed to AI, but at the same time is one area where more jobs can be created. Because if you have more people, more companies that are able to apply AI in different sectors, it means that those companies will need to employ people to operate those companies themselves. So if you have an AI, for instance, a company that does a lot of AI, say NVIDIA, for instance, it's a big IT company, you know, is disrupting AI, is creating models, is creating technologies in AI that are definitely making people lose jobs. But again, that company is growing because of what it's doing with AI. And because the company is growing, they are employing more people, they're getting more hands to work, they're employing more accountants, more drivers, more all kinds of people within that space. So the more exposed an area is, the high likelihood that jobs will be lost. But at the same time, there's a likelihood that jobs would be created in those areas. AI driven jobs, jobs in the core of AI. The second category of jobs would be jobs where they are exposed to AI. Those jobs and industries are exposed to AI, but they are not exposed to the extent in which people's jobs would literally disappear. They are exposed to the extent that those in those and people in those sectors or those industries can actually make use of AI to complement their work. Now, whether you will lose a job in such a sector or not will depend on the level of your efficiency in using AI to enhance what you do. So even though that sector may not be highly exposed to AI, if you are not efficient with the way that you use AI tools to improve the way that you work, to work smarter, to work faster, to do a lot in less time, you're likely to lose your job. And there is also that a segment of sectors or industries where AI really hasn't, you know, shown strong or significant promise. Those places, people would likely retain their jobs. Another dimension of sort of the extent to which AI might displace people from job is the economies where people operate in. If you live in a very advanced economy where the rate of adoption of AI is high, where several of your sectors are highly exposed to AI, you are likely to lose jobs if you are in those sectors that are highly exposed. But again, remember the caveat, the extent to which you are able to migrate into areas that are using AI and creating jobs in AI. But I see for countries like Nigeria and many developing countries where the amount, of sectors and jobs that are exposed to AI are significantly low. We might hear all the buzz around AI and what AI can do and what it's doing in developed countries or developed economies, but it will take a long time for us to start seeing people actually losing jobs because of AI, because of the level of development that we have in these low income economies. And of course, your level of development also determines the extent to which your sectors are exposed to AI. For countries like Nigeria, many developing countries, there are many sectors and activities that are very far from being automated, very far from being replaced by AI because the industries, the private sector guys who play in those areas have not become that so sophisticated, to be able to create those systems, to be able to afford even the digital technologies that would replace people's jobs. So in those areas, you're very likely going to see that, people would continue business as usual for years, even though maybe their counterparts in Europe and America are having their jobs replaced by AI. And then there's areas that, for now, there's no promise yet that AI could start to replace people's jobs. So there would be pluses and minuses. IMF predicts that 40% of jobs or 60% of jobs in advanced economies can be replaced, by AI. But in less developed countries, you probably have somewhere around 30%. So on average, there are globally around 40% of jobs that can be replaced by AI. But at the same time, something close to that would be created by AI themselves. So AI itself and companies that are developing applications and technologies in AI as well. Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Okoli, let's look at government interference in AI. Well, I've seen in developed countries in Europe where the government is trying to understand, the role AI plays and, of course, what's going to happen in the future. A couple of countries like Brazil had to ban X for a while, and then we saw that also happening in the EU where new laws are being introduced to control or curtail the spread of AI and, of course, how it's being used and implemented. Is this a good thing? On the other end, however, the tech owners who also are employing the use of AI in their devices or their tools or whatever they are producing are not really happy about these restrictions that governments are putting on the use of AI. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing moving forward? Is this something that government should adopt, as we look to expand AI usage and productivity?
So for now, I feel for the next couple of years, we will continue in this roller coaster of regulation and AI being ahead of regulation and regulation catching up and regulation trying to stifle it when it catches up with it, and then AI running off again and things like that. This is very normal for new technologies that are emerging in across the country. So AI is new everywhere. So it's not only new to Africa or less developed countries, it's new to everywhere. So this backs and forth and roller coaster would continue. But what we can look at are things that are clear already. Number one, there is no country that is banning AI or will ban AI. That's number one. Number two, every country understands and is already enjoying the benefits of AI. Everyone is seeing what AI can do. So when it comes to regulation, there will always be regulation. And of course, the EU, which is like the global supranational master for um, regulatory efficiency and just been sort of the major schoolmaster around regulation globally, would always regulate. And of course, we understand the politics around regulating major big techs and how that the EU responds to that. EU, I mean, great economic area, but hasn't got some of the biggest techs in the world. So they haven't got the likes of the Nvidia, Microsoft, Google. So there is a way that the EU would respond to what AI is doing differently from what the US does. If you look at what's happened, the EU was the first supranational agency, or even country in a sense, supranational agency or economic union to have a regulation around AI. US came slightly later, but if you look at the content of these regulations, you see that the EU is a lot stricter with some of the things that he's saying about AI compared to a US government where Biden simply made declarations, So there is the balance, there's politics in it, there's of course genuine caution in what AI will do. But long and short, none of these regulations are fierce enough right now
Mm.
to be a deterrent to the growth of AI in those regions where those regulations are made and even other regions. So that's the fact. The politics will continue. We do understand what the EU will do and what they are doing. They haven't got the biggest guys. So what they benefit from is the regulations, how they put in regulations to see if they can make money off the big techs. But the US that hosts most of these major um big techs is usually very lax with the way that it regulates technology because it knows that, at the end of the day, these global companies pay taxes to them. And if they prosper, then the US economy prospers. So the politics aside, no, none of these regulations for now is a major deterrent to the development of AI or to the use of AI or to the adoption of AI or to the continuous development of AI technology. So it shouldn't really bother anyone now. Somehow this regulation will get a rhythm and they will get some balance somewhere that still allows AI to flourish. But then what will help in the long term is that we get the best of AI with the risk sieved out to a very great extent. So things like transparency, things like privacy, things like security, things like explainability, you know, all of those principles for AI governance and AI safety, these regulations will help to build them into AI technology as the big techs are building AI. So it's good that these technologies are coming now. So it's not like when they become well advanced, these regulations will come and make them difficult. Right now, AI is still very flexible and fluid in the way that it's being built and in the way that it's been deployed and the way that it's being used. So these regulations are coming right now to grow with the sector, to grow with the maturity and the development of AI. And that's a good thing. So they are not in any way going to be a deterrent to development and investments in the AI area right now. They are actually plus and minus a good because they are helping to assure the public of safety, in the use of AI. They're also giving those who are investing in AI some confidence that regulation is coming in, is giving consumers confidence that when we build stuff, they would pay for it and they will consider it safe to use. Yeah, that's how I say it.
Okay. Dr. Okoli, that was quite an extensive explanation, and we appreciate you for
Thank
joining the
you.
show today. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Do have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay. We've been speaking.